this is going to be one of those games like we've seen this year where they can be competitive. Who knows? Maybe they squeak one out. And the hell with all you draft pick people out there, man. I don't care. I need something to be happy about, man. It's just, I put on this stupid hat today so I could be happy. Okay, I
like that hat.
Cheer me up, man.
Are you listening?
I know.
Damn.
Ronbo Sports representing the Niner Empire organization worldwide. Where football, 49er football to be exact, never ends. How you doing, fam? You holding up okay? I know, right? 2 and what? No! You know, this time last year, we were starting to roll, huh? We was getting ready to do the last 5 games. This time last year, we already had won one because we got 4 games left. That means we were Jimmy G moving toward the end of the season, thinking we had a new football team ready to go into 2019 or 2018, should I say. And here we are. Jimmy G is here, but he's sitting up in the booth with John Lynch. I think John Lynch has got Jimmy sitting in the room with him. John is probably watching every time somebody walks in. Hey, just walk around Jimmy. Don't get close to him. Don't touch him. Just walk around. Jimmy is the franchise. Be careful. And if we just would have been a little bit careful, do you wonder sometimes what would it have been like had Jimmy been able to stay the whole season? Because quite frankly, as people were complaining, Jimmy G wasn't doing that when he left. Well, the whole team was moving along at a slow pace before he all left. And it was just a little while before I'm sure Jimmy would have caught on. As I keep having to tell people, I don't know why I have to keep telling people that. Did it look like that was the same Jimmy G that left 2017? It was obvious that he was trying to catch on to the program. Okay, never mind. Anyway, one thing about it, Nick Mullins. I like Nick, I really do. You do realize he passed over 400 yards, right? What really made me laugh was Nick was asked about that later. Do you know that he didn't know until after the game was over? But being the gallant individual that he is, he says, hey, well, that's cool, but we didn't score enough points. But Nick, let me help you out with this, Nick. Okay, the Jeffrey Wilson fumble was BS. And they wonder why Kyle got mad. That was not, the man is laying on the ground, you pull the ball out of his arms and call it a fumble? Okay. The touchdown that you could have gotten when you threw the ball to Jeffrey Wilson, who was standing a few feet. Well, you know, it's so funny. Jeffrey Wilson's involved in 2 miscues. The one that was not his fault, but the one he lined up in front of Bobby Wagner for that pass, and then Mullins went ahead and threw the ball. Nicky, you probably shouldn't have done that one. But that's 14 points right there. And in a football game, here's the story. If you make mistakes at key particular points, you kill momentum and give it to the other team. Those are points that we could have scored that we didn't have to kick off. I do believe if I look back on the game, the Hawks did cash in on those kind of mistakes. So, you know, what am I saying? Bobby's big butt ran for 98 yards. That's one of the longest turns. Man, breathe. It's okay. Nick Mullins is still razor sharp, and this week it wasn't about Nick Mullins. As you know what Kyle likes to do. He tells the media, I've not made my decision yet. He didn't go through that this week. We're not even talking about it this week. After you throw for over 400 yards, you get to start in the next game. So Nicky Mullins out there again, and I got a lot of faith in him. I keep thinking he is just a game or so away. He just needs to work with the guys that he didn't get a chance to work with. You see what's developing between him and Dante Pettis? God, I love it. Him and Pettis. Now, Keith. The return of Goodwin, which, by the way, would have made a difference last week in every way, and against Tampa Bay as well. People don't want to take it seriously. Look, I understand he's not what you call a number 1 receiver, but I'm sorry. He'll do until one comes along if he ain't. Because Marquise Goodwin shakes up a defense. He does things that can't be covered. Even the Denver Broncos coach is already voicing his opinion about how he's worried about Keys. Marquise Goodwin, anytime a receiver screws up the game plan in a way that you can't really plan for it, because like they're saying in Denver, that speed's natural. What he does is put the entire defense on alert. Now you can't do some of the things you want to do. He can strike suddenly, he can strike quickly. You make one mistake and he's gone. To me, I don't care who we pick up next year. Keys is the number one receiver in this dude's book. And I'm glad he's back, because he's going to make all the difference in the world in the offense. Anytime you got a guy, and at some point, I figure, especially with Jimmy G, if he'd have been here this year, I think they would have started Keys might have started getting double teamed. Because the fact of the matter is, if he gets a step on one guy, it's done. Now we might have two guys that can do that. Because when you look at Dante Pettis, God, I like him. Hey, did you vote, by the way, Pepsi? Yeah, he's up for the Rookie of the Week honors. Vote for him, all right? He did a good job, 2 touchdowns. One of the fastest starts for a rookie receiver since, God, it goes a long ways back. But he's legit. Oh, is he legit. Goodwin, Pettis, Kittle. I like that attack. I know what you said. Hey, Ronbo, calm down, man. We ain't winning this game. We might. Don't worry about the draft. Not yet, you know. The Raiders are playing Pittsburgh, if that's even worse news. Ain't no way in the hell they're going to beat the Steelers. You know, there's something to think about. So, and here's more good news. Peter T is finally going to get his shot. I'm so happy for him. Here's the thing. Dakota Watson's going to go down. Hey, Dakota Watson did a good job, by the way. Dakota came in after going through the IR. Do you know within those few games, what did he play, 4 games? Something like that? Dakota Watson had more production in the few games he was back this year than he did last year. Dakota Watson had 2 sacks. And what do you have, 5 unassisted tackles? Dakota put in some work. You know, these are the things that happen to us, right? Kowalski T gets hurt. Every time somebody's putting in work, Jimmy Ward was putting in work. These guys put in work. Boom! Oh! God, we got to replace him now, too. So here we go. You know, so I don't even know who's going to play over the top safety this week. You know what? I don't even want to talk about that, right? Let's wait till game time, because he's not putting his cards on the table as who's going to play where this year. We do know that Nick Mullins is going to start. You do know that Dante Pettis is going to play. And we do know Marquise Goodwin is back. That's pretty much a known fact. On defense, I think everybody pretty much is going to be back except for Dakota Watson. And I just told you about Peter Talmapinu, who I'm dying to say, what if Peter Talmapinu comes off that edge like John Lynch described him last year? He comes off that edge with his hair on fire. It is those players that don't get the shots they should get. When you look back at the players that have done well, that were thought to be unworthy of NFL caliber games. Let's go. Look at Matt Breida. Could have been one of the best in the league if not for his ankle. You look at Kendrick Bourne, another good player. You look at, I tell you, I really love, when I look at what Raheem Mostert did this year, I had no idea. I was like everybody else, and I'm going to stop doing that. I thought Raheem Mostert was just a special teams guy. That is a running back, my God. Jeffrey Wilson. This is salute to Bobby. I mean, him and Kyle, they can produce running backs. So, I feel good about this team. We could just get them healthy. Because we got our running back core already in place. We don't need to do anything with that. We just need to get Jimmy G back out there and Jerick McKinnon. When people start talking about all the pieces the 49ers need, I hope they're not talking about offense, because we don't really need a lot. You can go out and get that number 1 receiver if you think it's necessary, or the 49ers think it's necessary. But all I want is another solid receiver, just in case somebody gets hurt. Because I like Kendrick Bourne. I like our receiving courses. I like the 49ers were last year. When people talk about, we'd like to add another 5 wide receiver. No, why? These guys are used to Jimmy G. Let that work some. Let that get used to. It's all about chemistry in the NFL. It's not about bringing in new bodies every few minutes. That's what's wrong with the defense now. You got new guys coming in, rotating in and out. every weekend, and then the first thing we want to do is blame the coach. You got to get some guys in there that can develop a chemistry and play every week. Learn the scheme. It's not rocket science, but you do need guys to be cohesive. You need guys that can communicate and know each other and realize that they're just one, not a bunch of guys running all over the place. And I'm glad they're closing Matt Breida down, too. You know, as I say, close him down. We don't need him the rest of the season. Let Jeff Wilson do it. He may need a backup, though. I don't know if it's going to be Alfred Morris or somebody else they have off the practice squad. But I do know that Jeff, man, that dude, he runs a 4.5. I checked him out. He goes 6 foot. He's 210 pounds. So he's the biggest guy we got. He's going to take Alfred Morris's place, I'm sure, in the future, because if you want a hard banging back on that third down, Jeffrey will come in and get it done. That dude, man, he hits hard. Remember he knocked that Seattle Seahawks safety on his butt? Ha ha! Bam! George Gill was there and said, I looked over that and said, man, he fired everybody on the team up with that. Knocked that dude on his butt, got him. Ah! You know, that's the cry of the wolf, baby. Time to eat. So, I like me some Jeff Wilson, man. This team is slowly taking form. And did you look how many guys we got in the All-Star balloting this year? Remember last year and the year before that? We didn't have no people on the All-Star balloting. I'm sorry, Pro Bowl balloting. Got the wrong sport. It's not basketball. But we got stars, man. I'm telling you. All we need is a couple of pieces. And it could be, and as I've go ahead and gone on record, man. I'm taking Bosa. If we get the number one pick, I'm taking the B-boy. Telling you, man, because the 49ers get a crazy wrecking ball like Bosa to add to the guys who already got. Because I wrote down in Ronbo Sports blog yesterday, I said, draft me an edge rusher in the first round, get one in the second round too. Don't let the third round go by without getting a pass rush. Fourth round, give me another one. One of them's gonna work. I'm sick and tired of watching quarterbacks leisurely cut up the defense. People are talking about bringing in Greedy Williams. For what? So he can get cut up too? Give me a pass rush. There's no way you're gonna put anything back there that's gonna do a dang thing unless that quarterback is under fire. Staying with that. I'm ready to argue all offseason long. Don't come to me about no cornerbacks. Give me a pass rush. You can take an average cornerback and put him back there, as long as you got that quarterback hustling for his life back there. And for God's sakes, don't be giving him time to throw. Have him scared to death. Have the offensive lineman on his team saying, look, we can't do anything about it. You have to get rid of that ball as fast as you can. I want that. And now, your secondary, no matter who it is, he's got the advantage. Sticking with it. You know what? I want to talk a little bit more about the Seattle game, so I think we'll go to Seattle, see my boy Alex. And of course, we'll be talking about the Denver Bronco game, because, man, I'm telling you right now, I know, don't win the game. Let's talk to Alex first, and I'll get back to you on how I feel about the game coming up. I'm telling you, let's go to the camp. Niner fam, the gentleman sitting there with a glowing head, it's Alex out in Seattle.
Oh my God, Merry Christmas, Ronbo!
Oh my God. This is that year when you say Merry Christmas, it takes on something that has nothing to do with the 49ers, Alex. It has been awful since the fall up until now. The only Christmas present that was going to be good was to beat the Seattle Seahawks, and they beat us up again.
That was not on my Christmas list.
I know, Alex. I tell you, man. How are you otherwise? Let's talk about pleasant matters first. How are you?
I'm pretty good, man. Things are really good out here. Of course, we had a big weekend with a lot of events that we always do when the Niners come up to town.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And we packed this club with, it was a little over 400 people for a big party, and it was a heck of a lot of fun. The team sent a videographer and a photographer, and they were giving out prizes and stuff like that. And we welcomed the team at the airport like we always do, so that was a ton of fun. Man, I love this weekend. It sucks when we lose, which, by the way, is every time for a while now. But, we still have a heck of a lot of fun, man. How about you? How's Ronbo?
Yeah, well, no, I was, because the only thing is I came into this season anticipating bludgeoning most teams, and then we're getting bludgeoned. Well, you know what? The thing is, we're not getting bludgeoned. We were losing cliffhangers. Alex, wouldn't it have been wonderful had we beaten Green Bay that night? I think my whole life would have changed.
Yeah, it would. I mean, everybody now, of course, is talking about the first pick in the draft. As a fan, as someone who, put so much time and effort into this team, running this club up here and everything, I'm kind of tired about talking about draft picks. I want to see wins. But, I mean, I guess we're at the point now that, shoulda, coulda, woulda in so many of these games. I mean, that Seahawks game, that was not particularly close. But, we haven't really been getting stomped a whole lot this year, even with we're out on backup quarterback, and then we're on a practice squad quarterback that threw for over 400 yards against the Seahawks.
Thank you very much.
We have, we're down to we're on our fifth string running back at this point off the practice squad as well. He goes over 100 yards combined. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know who to blame. What do we do?
Well, see, now you mentioned blame. Now, see, Alex, you know how we do. Not you and I, but a lot of our folks. The first thing they do is start pointing finger at whose fault is this, because we're always looking for somebody. It's really amazing to me. They're not pointing at Jed as usual. There's no planes flying overhead yet. But the thing is, they are blaming, and they're blaming John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan for for the reason you just pointed out. Why would you do that, Alex? Are you blaming anybody? Because from what you just said, it didn't sound like you're holding anybody responsible. You just gave good reason as to why we're doing the way we are. Let's help people. Let's help those who are listening understand clearly why we both agree this is not John Lynch's fault and Kyle Shanahan. You can't draft 2 first-string teams. What do you think?
Right. Yeah, and I don't know who you blame at this point. I think there's plenty to go around. I think that, we've seen discipline issues with the team. I think that we've seen some fundamental things with the team in certain positions. Obviously there's still a bit of a lack of pass rush, although we got to Russell Wilson 4 times this weekend, which was pretty impressive. But you need more. And the turnovers, that to me, so this is what I come down to. And I say, okay, because you look at coming into this year when everybody was talking about the 2017 draft class. Oh, how amazing was it, right? If we can just get something out of Solomon Thomas, oh my God, it's right. Okay, Reuben Foster is gone. Get it. Okay. Akello Witherspoon has struggled a little bit. Okay. So Trent Taylor has been hurt quite a bit. So there's some, talk that he hasn't hit the way they have. Okay, fine. George Kittle's still really damn good. Yeah. Matt Breida, he wasn't drafted, but he's from that class, still pretty damn good. Okay, so then you come to this year's draft class, and everybody loves it right now. So now all of a sudden they hate last year's draft class. They love this year's. People, fickle. These guys have been in the league for less than 2 years. Give them just a little bit of time, especially these guys that are 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round picks. They're gonna need a little bit of time to develop. Understand with Solomon Thomas. He hasn't maybe been used correctly. He maybe hasn't performed the way people would like. So we can blame players, we can blame coaches, we can blame the GM. For me, the biggest thing is the turnover ratio. If we can either stop giving the ball away so much, please, or at least maybe take it back just a few times. Because even coming out of halftime in that game against the Seahawks, you could envision, you could squint really hard and see, okay, there's a path to get back into this thing. But that went away really quick. And you can't be muffin punch. You can't be throwing pick sixes, right? It's just the same old story. And whether we're losing close or we're losing by a lot, that turnover thing, to me, that's going to be the story of the season. So I don't know if that means we need better players with better defensive instincts, swarming to the ball, jumping routes, or if it's just bad luck, or if it's more on the offense because they just can't hold on to the rock. I don't know, but to me, that's the blame right now that I'm looking at going into next year when Jimmy gets back, when some of these guys are healthy, and you add some more players to the draft and free agency. Remember, they're going to have a ton of money, right? So I think that's the thing you're looking for, is you got to clean up those mistakes, the penalties, the turnovers. I think And we can't be decimated by injuries again. Right? Come on, this can't happen again.
4 years, Alex. Even in 2014, when we still had Harbaugh, we got killed by injuries that year. We had Willis and Bowman standing on the sideline, and Cameron kept panning over him to him all the time.
Been brutal.
Yeah. But as I say, you can't draft 2 first strings, and the guys Alex just explained, they need time to develop.
Right. Alex, and some of that's depth, I think, too, right? I mean, even when you draft a guy like George Kittle, who's been really, really good, well, what happens if he goes down? We going to rely on Selleck? Right? Like, how much are you going to get out of him? So it's about depth. So you need another free agent class. You need another draft class. Understand that, we only have, 6 picks in this next draft? I can't remember. It's not a ton.
Well, if we get a compensation pick for Ruben, we'll have 6, yeah.
But the point is, whether they're making 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 selections, you're not going to continue to have full draft classes that stay with the team and get on the active roster every single year. I mean, these last 2 draft classes, you've seen these guys get plenty of chances. Some of the guys now, because of injuries, are finally getting their first chance on the active roster.
Right.
But you do still need depth. So, look, some of these guys, Malcolm Smith,
man. That's not depth. That's not depth.
We need something better than him,
yes.
Right? We need to start improving incrementally, and I think that in the next draft and the next free agent class, I think that's what we'll see. I don't think they're going out and making a big splash like a Jerick McKinnon like they did last year. They're not going to go get Le'Veon.
Don't say that. Else you're going to make a lot of people real angry. You probably talked to people already. Break the bank. We're not going anywhere until we get some players in here.
Like you can spend that money on depth, and that's what I think this team desperately needs is really good, healthy depth. I mean, look, I hate to say it. We were talking about the Seahawks. It makes me sick to talk about how good they've over the last 6 years or so.
Their organization is really.
But you look, and understood they had a quarterback on a rookie contract when Russell Wilson came in the league, and you still had Sherman on a rookie contract. You still had Earl Thomas on a rookie contract. All these guys, so they had some of this benefit, but then they went in and they augmented it as the years went by. They added Cliff Averill. They added Michael Bennett, right? Guys that their former team couldn't afford or didn't want for whatever reason, and they started adding this depth and bolstering the roster. And, and then you saw now once they had a really good roster after they won that first Super Bowl.
Pay me or I'm leaving.
Right? Because, and we already mentioned him, Malcolm Smith, he bolted to the Raiders for money, right? Okay, so you start to lose some of that depth. But then they were really good at continuing to add to that. So I think that we need to get to the point to where we have a solid roster through and through, not just, yes, we've got the quarterback. Yes, we've got the running back. Yes, we've got the tight end. 2 bookends on the offensive line. Now you got to start adding to that. You got to have a really good swing tackle in case somebody goes down. You got to start to add more. You got to have a lot more pass rush. They need to go out and get
don't get me started on that.
Right?
Man.
So once they add that, then you can start to sustain that success because, yes, you're going to understandably lose guys because you can't pay everybody forever, especially if you end up really good and people start noticing them. But then it's so much easier to add that depth back than it is to constantly be going out and looking for starters. So I think that there's a decent foundation built with some starters. Got to bolster the defense in a lot of ways, right? But that depth, man, that's what they got to do. They got to start.
Alex, what you're saying here is that you want us. It's the D word. Alex wants to be he wants to build to the D word. Yeah, Alex, the Rams. Let's use the Rams for an example. Now the Rams have went out and they bought a championship team, but that team, some of them getting a little older, and some of that offensive line is going to lose probably at least a person or two this year. And Ndamukong Suh. Some of these guys aren't going to be there. Peters looks kind of questionable this year. And Talib has probably got another year or two to go. Injuries are starting to set in on him. Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have already made it clear they want to build through the draft. What you're saying is pretty much build your strength first, and then you just patch it in. You take the same model as Bill Belichick is using. And you mentioned the Hawks. That's what they're doing. They're replenishing a roster that I thought was dead meat. And Alex, I shamefully want to say right now, I want to apologize to people who I said we'd steamroll the Hawks this year because they're done. all of those big-time Pro Bowlers are leaving and gone, and they're still wiping the floor with us.
Yeah, which is pretty annoying. Look, I gotta say, credit where credit's due, I guess, because I would have never. I mean, granted, some things have broke their way this year. They just happen to have a schedule in a year where the Packers are terrible, where where they were able to squeak one out against the Panthers, where obviously no Jimmy, right? So they're able to doormat us again. So there is some of that, okay, but at the same time, there's a lot of fans out there, a lot of 49ers fans who like to say that the Seahawks are nothing but lucky. And I'm here to tell you, this team, they know how to build a team. And it's time for people to accept that and understand that they are a lot better, I think, than we thought they were going to be.
Well,
I'm not saying
for sure I did.
I still think they're probably going to get dump trucked in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, first round.
But you never know. But the thing is when you have the quarterback position figured out, and one big thing that they have going in their favor this year is they've actually had consistency on the offensive line. Does that remind you of another team? Is there another team that you know of had a really bad offensive line last year, and all of a sudden consistency this year has made it vastly improved? That matters.
That really, they have.
And so who knows? I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't think we're getting rid of the Seahawks anytime soon. But that said, Russell Wilson's about to make a bunch more money. They've got some.
Is it time? Is this contract about to expire again?
I feel like maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't obsess with them.
Alex,
but
did you? Michael Wilhoit was on KNBR just the other day, and he was asked the question. He was with Matt Miyako on the weekend. Did you catch that? You see, there's something to that. Pete Carroll. Oh God, I hate to say this. Pete Carroll is a very dynamic coach. He keeps those guys fired up. It's the lack of attitude that we come in with that the Hawks seem to always trump us on. They're all pumped up. They're fired up. Pete's on the sideline. He's grabbing guys as they come off the field after they make a great play and hugging them and punching them in the head. I'm saying, you see, Pete's like one of the guys on the team, isn't he? And they still respect him at the same time. We need that kind of infusion. Kyle he's a silent, he's not the silent type, but he's not that style. But Pete, I watched Pete Carroll, the gums going, he's running up and down the sidelines, he's talking to people about things that just happened. I mean, the guy's real animate. Is that have something to do with the formula for winning in Seattle? I got a feeling it does.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, certainly he's been a very good coach. What he did at USC, tremendous. What he's done with the Seahawks so far has been great. We don't know what Kyle Shanahan's like when the cameras are turned off.
Yeah.
I'll tell you now. I have one of my best friends. He's a Falcons fan, and so when we made the hire, I had asked him. I was like, "What do you think about Kyle?" And he said, "He's just like his dad. He's cocky." So now that's so right. And he's like, great coach, but he's cocky. So, I think that maybe the more we see him and maybe the more we win, we'll see some different stuff. I'm trying to put my finger. I can't remember the game. There was a game earlier this year where we had a lead and he went for it, right? He went to put the foot on the throat downfield with a deep pass when he could have just been running out the clock. I can't remember the play or the game, but point is, I think he's a guy that he needs to get in a rhythm. And I think that once Kyle gets in a rhythm, we'll start to see that because, there have just been things, you've seen video of him on the sideline when he was back with the Browns and when he was with the Texans and certainly with the Falcons and stuff. And so that perception from another fan kind of makes me pause. I'm not going to buy into what Grant Cohn is selling. That's for damn sure. I'm not out here, look, Bill Walsh, how animated was he?
Yeah.
I don't remember him being super animated.
He was as stoic as you get.
Yeah. He had his moments, but right? I mean, compared to Seifert, right? I mean, when you go down the line and you look at different coaches that we've had, and they've certainly all been different. Some of them have won. Kyle Shanahan's never going to be Jim Harbaugh. He's not going to throw stuff in the air and flop and, and freak out and pull his headset off and all this stuff, right?
That was entertaining.
But when Russell Wilson picks up a dude's shoe and chucks it downfield, was that animated enough for you?
God.
Did you feel the energy from Kyle Shanahan? Look,
loved it.
I'm not a professional lip reader, Ronbo.
You need not be.
Some naughty work. I think I saw what he said. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
And when the ref do? Oh. I said, my God.
And you know what? I bet Kyle's not proud of it.
No, he apologized.
But you see the quotes coming from the players after that, though?
Yeah, fired them up.
Look, this is now 2 years in a row of performance that nobody wanted.
Yeah.
I think when you have veterans on the team like Joe Staley, Kyle Juszczyk, guys that have been around the league for a while, who have tasted some winning, and now all of a sudden they've had to go through 2 seasons of being bad again, right? And they still... have you heard of any locker room drama? Any, coaches lost the locker? You haven't heard a peep of that, right?
Not a little bit.
So Cone I don't know. That guy, he's out of here, man.
I know, yeah.
He's the only one saying anything like that, and it's not based on anything. It's no sources. It's just him feeling like he's on the hot seat, because every time he's at a press conference and he asks a stupid question, Kyle puts him in.
Kyle already said,
I'm sorry, Grant. I'm sorry, right here. Look at me in the eyes. I'm sorry that Kyle Shanahan hurt your feelings, Grant, but he's not on the hot seat, bro. Listen, hey, what's our quarterback's name? It's almost like I forget it sometimes.
Are you talking about Nick Mullins?
That's okay. Boy, it almost escaped me there for a second, because he's a practice squad quarterback. He threw for 400 yards.
That's right.
Seahawks this Sunday.
Who could have got him to do that besides Kyle Shanahan?
I understand he only threw a couple touchdowns. I understand he threw a pick six. He threw for 400. He's the first quarterback since Colin Kaepernick did it, in 2015 or something like that, to throw for over 400 yards. Damn. This doesn't happen. Here's another crazy stat for you. I was doing a little number looking up on Monday, because sometimes when I get depressed, I like to do research, make myself feel even worse.
And look for good stuff.
I believe there were only 13 times in NFL history where a team has gone for over 400 passing yards and scored 17 or less points. Okay? Do you know who so one was Nick Mullins, right? Lowest point total was 3, and that was done by Joe Montana, and I believe it was a game in 1986 against the Washington Redskins, where they just had 2 Ray Wersching field goals, and those were their only points. And Montana went for like 445 or something like that. So, look, point is, Kyle Shanahan can scheme, baby. He can scheme. These teams wide open, and a practice squad quarterback is finding them. So Kyle Shanahan's not on a hot seat. I'm sorry. There's no even thinking about it.
Everybody's aware of what happened. He lost his first-string quarterback, the franchise quarterback at that. He lost his first-string running back, even though I don't know that when I look at Matt Breda, there's going to be some issue with that next year. But the point is, he lost too much, so I agree. So it's
and like I said, and yes, and then the counterpoint to some people will say, well, Nick Mullins still went for 400 yards, so why are you going to blame it on Jimmy being hurt? And it's like, Jimmy's not making some of the wobbly, look, Jimmy's going to throw some picks, all right?
He's a gunslinger.
But Jimmy, I believe, is going to be more poised. He's going to be better, even better in the pocket. I think Nick Mullins is better in the pocket than CJ Beathard, sorry, I almost said Breida. Yeah. I think he's better in the pocket than Breida is. Breida, I think, likes to actually get hit. But Jimmy's going to be even crisper, even cleaner. He's got more experience, all that stuff. I think that you get a full year with Jimmy Garoppolo, and there's no doubt in my mind that if Nick Mullins can go for over 400 yards against the Seahawks,
Jimmy be pumping out 5.
I'm just saying, I think we're going to win more games. I don't think we're a 2-win game if Jimmy Garoppolo is on this roster.
Because we got to make some changes on the defense. Now, we can't, you've got to Kyle had a conference, and he also mentioned that. He talked about your better teams, because he'd ask about the Seahawks, and we're coming up against the Broncos, and all those great teams always had a defense and usually a great pass rush. Let me ask you this. Now, we talked about the picks earlier. You said 5, but I said we may have 6 picks according to the Rubin compensation. Do you think about, am I going to trade that pick to get more picks? Or are we going to go ahead and get the premier pass rusher out of this year's draft?
I don't think there's any question about it. If the 49ers do end up with the number 1 pick, you have to take Bosa. There's just, I mean, look, I will say I trust the 49ers scouting department more than I trust my own eye, okay? But it seems like the consensus is that Nick Bosa is the guy, right? Now, if Herbert from Oregon declares, I can't remember, has he declared or not yet? If he declares, now all of a sudden you have a premium quarterback that a team might want to jump up, right? Because right now I think the order, it goes us, the Raiders, and the Jets, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because the Cardinals screwed up. They beat the Packers.
Right. So now you start to talk about, I mean, if we drop down, it's not going to be, I wouldn't think it would be with I mean, maybe the Raiders would want to get Herbert, but I feel like they'd probably rather have the passers. I don't know. I mean, if the Raiders come with a package that you just can't turn down, because look, they're just stock full of first-round draft picks right now. So if they give you the moon and you're positive that they're going to go the quarterback, maybe. But I don't know, man. To me, this feels like the draft where if they're at number 1, they have to stay there. They have to know for 100% sure the guy we need is right there and no one else can take him. I think you just got to take him, man.
I'm with you on that. I want Bosa now. I've had enough of no pass rush. Every year I'm saying the same thing. Every year. If we just had a pass rush, Bosa's an animal. Even his brother says, my brother's an animal. I mean, it's already been said that Nick is better than Joey. And that, to me, is an outrageous thing to say. Are you serious? He's better than Joey? Good Lord, we've got to have him. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with you on that. Got to take Bosa.
Yeah, and I think, you know, because the only scenario that you see the Raiders trading up is if they want Bosa, right? Because if they obviously know we're not taking a quarterback, so if they want Herbert, then why would they trade up with us, right? So like I said, it would have to be the deal of the century, and even then, I don't know, man. I just feel like if
as bad as we're hurting for an edge,
right? If they take it and they move, if there's another edge that they feel we're confident this guy's absolutely better than Bosa. Or maybe during the combine process, there's something about the medicals with Bosa doesn't turn up right for them, and they just don't feel comfortable with it. And then the Raiders want to give you all the picks because they want to take Bosa?
Yeah.
Sure, maybe. But, I mean, like I said, man, you have to be
really sure. Somebody said Josh Allen is a good pick as well. There's also Cleveland Farrell. There's that other lineman everybody's talking about. I forget what team, but anyway, there's a few good linemen this year, but I don't know if anybody's going to be a Bosa elite type of guy coming off the edge, potentially elite. So that's another story.
Look, DeForest Buckner has 9 sacks. With the supporting cast. I'm not going to sit here and say he's Aaron Donald. Like if we made a trade 1 for 1, I'm not saying that he could go to the Rams and do what Aaron Donald has done there. But I mean, if Aaron Donald's here, where does Buckner fall? It's not down here. It's somewhere right in here, right? Yeah. If you give him that supporting cast, I think he is a true wrecking ball in there.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
But I mean, he's getting so many double teams, and I understand even with Ndamukong Suh, even with the other guys that the Rams have, you still see Aaron Donald getting some double teams because he's that damn good.
Fast.
But point is, I think we have somebody special, if not the top, one of the top guys on the interior in the NFL.
Yep.
And man, I'm just dreaming right now about a real additional. Hey, look, Ronnie Blair's been looking really good right now.
You know? Oh, I love me some Ronnie. I'm a huge fan. Yes.
Right. Yeah. And all of those guys could improve too, because if all of a sudden you've got a Nick Bosa or equivalent, right, a real true edge rusher out there that's drawing attention.
Now they
Not
can
only
eat.
is it going to help Buckner, it's going to help your Ronnie Blairs. It's going to help everybody out there, man.
Yeah.
And boy, we just need it. We need it. We have to have it.
And you got Contavious Street coming in next year too. And if Contavious can pull trees up out of the ground like he does, I'm sure he'd be able to do well in the NFL.
That's right.
We've got the Broncos coming up, and I tell you right now, it's a very scary thing. I'm just picturing Vaughn coming around that edge. Nick Mullins is going to get rid of the ball. One thing I like about Nick, he's not going to sit there and take sacks. He got sacked a couple of times this week, but normally Nick's going to get rid of that ball, either drop in the dirt or do something with it. But can our offensive line save our hero this weekend? Because we got a lot.
Well, I mean, Von Miller's a hell of a player.
I mean, more than that.
Look, there's no shame in getting sacked by Von Miller. And
yes.
I mean, right? It's kind of like when Reggie White took down sorry, do I have this mixed up? Was it Reggie White? Did he get it when he set the record?
I thought you were talking about the guy he brought down with 2 fingers. I'm not sure.
Oh no, am I thinking of Strahan that took down? Anyway, whoever it was.
Well, no,
I think it was
Strahan did say, it was
right,
Brett.
I think he took down Favre to set the new record. I think is what it was.
Yeah.
So point is, and then Favre just kind of laid down and just said, "Here you go, buddy."
That was a nice thing.
Stood up, shook his hand, and hey, look, nobody wants to go in the record books for something like that. But when you're a truly special player, hey, you know it's going to happen. You're going to take your lick. Maybe protect yourself if you can, if you see it coming. Yeah. And that's what I think is Nick's got to be thinking about. He can't be too concerned, right? I mean, yeah, you got to kind of grow eyeballs in the back of your head against some of these guys that are coming here, right? When he plays against Khalil Mack, same thing.
Yeah.
You may as well just put on extra or something like that, right?
Forgot about the Bears.
That's right, you forgot. And look, and we can rewind back to the beginning of the year. The first 2 teams that the Seahawks played this year, it went Denver, Chicago, back-to-back weeks. Russell Wilson was getting his butt planted in the wall, pinned to the ground by the.
I enjoyed that. I did see that. Yeah.
Well, guess what? Now it's our turn, everybody. It's not in consecutive weeks, but here it comes, right?
Oh yeah.
I feel like Nick is going to have his work cut out for him. Luckily, he's got one Mr. Joe Staley. Luckily, he's got one Mr. Mike McGlinchey, who, by the way, there was a list that came out today of some expert about the top rookies in the league, and he left Mike McGlinchey off that list, and that disrespect will not be tolerated around here.
But he's been making most lists. Mike is outstanding on the run. They say his pass blocking is good, but not like his run blocking. So I guess he's not the complete package in some of these guys' lines.
Yeah, and he's a rookie.
And he's a rookie,
And so, look, he's been good. Point is, I think that, and then, our offensive line has not been terrible this year. There have been moments where guys have whiffed. You've seen the stuff, right? It's not great. I'm not here to sell you on us having one of the best offensive lines in the league, although some of the metrics that I've seen says that we're up there, right? We're top 10
it's
now.
Top 10, yeah.
Right? So look, Nick's going to have his work cut out for him again. But
how bad is it going to be? Because I know where you're going. I know where you're going with this. How bad is it going to be? Because you know what? Nobody's pulling back anymore. Everybody. I've never done this. Alex, I don't care who we're playing. I always say 49ers will pull this one off. I believe in the fourth. It's their time. I could say that. I'm not going to say it this time. But Alex, what are you going to say? What's going to happen?
The Broncos have been playing really well as of late. They did just lose Emmanuel Sanders today.
You gave. Oh, God. That's right. I'm back.
Right, so he went down with the torn Achilles today, which is a bummer. I ran to my fantasy league looking to see if his backup was available, and he wasn't. I was like, damn. Look, it's going to probably come down to which Denver offense are we going to get, and how good, once again, can the 49ers defense be? Can we either generate turnovers, or can we not give away the damn ball? And that's going to be really the thing. I mean, if we come out there and we're muffing punts and we're pick sixes, and referees decide that a guy laying on the ground that has the ball ripped out that's apparently a fumble now. I know, right? Look, we were going to lose that game anyway.
I know, because it's just it's part of the script.
It just piles on, right? It's like what can possibly? And then all of a sudden, our damn long snapper is using PEDs. Man, you're on the field like 8 times a game, bro. What are you doing taking drugs?
I said, right? What needs enhancing?
right. Like it's just. Man.
I think Murphy, Murphy of Murphy's Law. I think he lives in Seattle. He sits in the stands. If you see a guy sitting alone way up there, that's Murphy. It's every game.
And so really, I mean, it's just that's what's been, I think, the most frustrating. And going back to what you're talking about earlier about who's to blame and stuff, I don't know. Is it the strength and conditioning coach? Is it the GM? Is it the coach? Is it the players? Is it this? I don't know.
Dietitian.
That's it. Yeah. Going into this game, I mean, I don't think we will win. I think we can. I will say that. And it's just been like, I think, this is going to be one of those games like we've seen this year where they can be competitive. Who knows? Maybe they squeak one out. And the hell with all you draft pick people out there, man. I don't care.
No.
I mean, I need something to be happy about, man. It's just, I put on this stupid hat today so I could be happy. Okay, I like that hat. Cheer me up, man. If it ain't gonna be the team, then it's gonna be Christmas early since I'm not gonna see y'all before then. So,
Alex, let's go ahead and make it a Merry Christmas. Let's go ahead and call for an upset. The 49ers, they have no Emmanuel Sanders. A deep threat all of a sudden missing like that can hurt a team like that, especially when you're talking about Case Keenum, who I'm not even sure if he's better than Nick Mullins. So, I think because he had the kind of cast in Minnesota where you can't fail. Well, Kirk Cousins is having some problem. But the thing is, he had a great team over there, and he's got a great defense where he is now. And his running game is pretty tough. And like Kyle says, if we can outrun these guys, we'd be okay. We also got Marquise Goodwin back, and that's going to help.
I was just going to say Goodwin's going to be back, yeah.
And we got a new up-and-coming star. It looks like we got the real deal, that Dante Pettis. I'm telling you, I told people at the beginning of the year,
this guy, man,
you can't guard him.
We drafted him. I jumped out of my chair. Now, look, I'm not a big Husky fan, but I live here, so I'm aware
these guys,
of the program, right? I watch their games. Yeah. And there's just something about him that I liked in college. And I was like, man, I wonder what kind of a pro this guy is going to be. His separation is so good. Oh. And I mean, the moves he pulls out there, man, look, you know how bad my knee or my ankle would hurt if I did one of them things that he does out there? I'd be out.
Especially as deep as he dips on. Yes. You know what he makes? He sells that fake because the fact is Dante goes all the way. I mean, I've seen him go all the way down on that leg and spring back up and go the other way. He does it quickly. And the defender's like, hey, I thought you were going this way. So what kind of move is that?
This could be a lot of fun this week. I mean, I don't know which position which each guy is going to start in. I don't know if they're going to stick Dante back in the X again, maybe.
They got it, because Garcella's not coming. And you're not Kendrick.
Keep him there, right? Okay. Now you've got Goodwin back in his normal role. Yeah. You've still got Kendrick Bourne in there, right? Trent Taylor here and there. I mean, I know he's not been super healthy, right? But man, this could be fun. It really, really could. And Jeff Wilson, apparently, man, if you watch some of these videos slow down of this guy out there, he is not afraid of any damn thing. He will run through this brick wall behind me. It's actually not a real brick wall, so it wouldn't be hard. But
it looks good.
It looks good. It looks like real, but you know what I mean. Like look, anything can happen. Yeah. And again, it's going to come down to the pass rush and the turnover game.
And it always does. Are you willing to commit to a score?
Ooh, okay. All right, let's think in my head real quick. I'm gonna go because of Emmanuel. I'm gonna go 49ers. 34. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a good game. Mullins gonna clean some stuff up. He's still gonna be lighting it up. And the Broncos 27. How about that?
Wait. What the 49ers score was?
It was 34-27.
34-27.
It's a weird score, but that's what I'm going with.
Yes.
There's a missed PAT or something in there somewhere. It's gonna be wonky, and then people are gonna be like, the sky is falling, and we're gonna pull it off.
All right.
And then everyone will bet, but you know what? But here's the other prediction is that the Raiders will win this weekend too. probably not. But, but then we'll stay in first pick.
No, really. No, the Raiders have to win. If the Raiders are going to score 30 points last week, granted, Kansas City Chiefs do not like to play any defense either, which is amazing to me how they can still win so many games. But that may be the reason why the Raiders did as well as they did. So,
and you know what? My prediction's probably going to be wrong, and that's okay. But look, this is the way I'm looking at it. I ain't been right about hardly any damn thing this year, so I'm just going to go. I'm going to go with something way out there. I'm just going to say that.
I'm proud of you. Stay with it, Alex. Right? I'm not. I'm riding the same train. I cannot go into a week and say the 49ers are going to lose, even though the reality people come in. That's because you're not keeping it real. Well, you keep it real where you keep it where sun don't shine. I try not to get mad. So,
Look, I'm plenty realistic. My guy Kurt, the vice president of my club here, we watch all the games together with our group, and he and I are usually kind of standing off to the side, and I'll come up and I'll whisper something kind of negative in his ear, like, "Watch this bull," and he'll look at me, and it'll happen. And he gets so mad. So, believe me, I am not pooping out sunshine 24/7 about the 49ers. I'm perfectly realistic. Okay?
I agree.
But I am never going to predict a loss. I can't. Those words can't come out of my mouth, man. I can't do it.
I just can't. It's just the grip of the love of this team. I just can't just decide they're going to lose just for reality's sake, just to appease people who says, well, you're just too far removed from reality. Well, I don't want to be in reality. I'm a 49er fan, okay?
Man, I'm a fan. This is football. I don't get paid. If you want to pay me, hey, I'll give you my address. Y'all start sending me checks. I'm serious about my predictions. How about that?
And sit there with the NFL Network and say, well, the 49ers are lacking. and ESPN every week, Alex, don't watch them. I'm not recommending this to anybody. ESPN every week, they have two guys sitting there, and they'll stage it. They got the girl host over there. Okay, they're going down through the game scores. 49ers and Broncos. Well, they lost Emmanuel Sanders, but the 49ers are having a lot of internal problems with their team. So, in theory, they should probably be able to compete, but I'm going to take the Broncos. And I'm sitting there thinking, they go through all this, and then they say, well, I'm going to take the other team. Oh, shit.
It's like, right, so then when it doesn't happen, they can come back. Well, I mean, my instinct was.
I know.
What a great gig. What a great gig. You can just stand there and be wrong all the damn time. It's like being a weatherman in Seattle. They ain't never right, man. They're never right.
Alex, we're going to go. I'll tell you what, man. Alex is like, I'm telling you, this is why my dog, man, because Alex does not predict the 49ers to lose. I love it. Alex, give us the shout out on 3, 2, 1.
Go Niners! Have a good holiday, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. I got to get to Seattle, man. I checked you guys out. That big thing they do every time the 49ers come to town is epic. And they did it again this year. And, of course, the 49ers came in. Everybody knows it's going to be routine. When the 49ers come into the clink, they're going to lose the game. Oh, hey, you know what, fam? A moment of silence for Kyle Nelson. The heck, Kyle? PEDs? You're the long snapper. Why do you need PEDs? I was feeling really sorry for him because they slapped him with a 10-game suspension. What? Everybody else got 4 games. Why is Kyle getting 10 games? Then I kept reading, right? This is not the first time Kyle's gotten busted for PEDs. Really? Wow. And Kyle's saying he wouldn't knowingly take these things. I believe him. I don't believe he's lying, but what are the odds of you getting caught doing PEDs twice? You're a long snapper anyway. Why do you need... He says he takes the same supplements all the time. He doesn't deviate. But actually, you're supposed to go and check ingredients all the time. And now Kyle's running around trying to find out if the company had altered their formula and put something else in there. And I guess that would give him grounds for appeal, because if I've been doing things for a long time and all of a sudden the company changes the formula, is it my fault? But the league is going to say, Kyle, that's not our problem. You're supposed to make sure. Maybe you should check your supplements every 3 months. We don't know, but you're suspended. So, poor Kyle. And this is the last year of his contract. The 49ers are not going to wait for him. They went and got a guy named Colin Colba from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got rid of him. So he's our new long snapper. Now, Kyle loses this year and part of next year. He's got 10 games. We got 4 games left. He loses 6 games in the next season. And I guess if he gets caught again, that's it. You're out of here. League, period. Poor guy. I like him. Guy had great hair. Remember that show they did? Who had the best hair? He was one of the candidates. I'm sorry, it's not funny. Poor Kyle. Maybe the 49ers give him another chance. I don't know, but it's such a strange thing. He's a long snapper. He doesn't need a lot of... Wow. Okay, you know what? Let me give my prediction to get on out of here, because here's the thing, fam. I am not going to start kowtowing. And you know me, and I'm sorry, I don't care. I'm just like Alex. I refuse to start talking about the 49ers are going to lose a game before they even play it. I can't stand it. I can't do it. I'm just sorry, okay? I mean, reality bites. I don't... 49ers will win this game. Here, let me just... Okay, I got a couple of things I can throw in there. The 49ers have got Marquise Goodwin back. That's going to add a whole lot to the offensive chemistry. I got Nick Mullins. What is this, his 4th game? Anyway, Nick has had enough games now that he should be pretty efficient this week, because all you need is a lot of time when you got that kind of skill. The kid has got skills. He's chemistry, as I mentioned earlier. He's developing chemistry with Dante. He's got Marquise. I'm sure that's going to build. And you know how he does with George Kittle. And I like Jeffrey Wilson in the role he's going to be playing. I don't know who else is going to be back there in the backfield with him. But I do like that combination of offensive weapons we got. Now, if indeed they can go ahead and score this time instead of making mistakes right around the goal line, the Broncos defense, oh, it's tough. It's really tough. I got to admit that defense is just, I mean, you got Von Miller coming off of one and Bradley Chubb coming off the other edge. That is scary. Oh, that is scary. But they got Beast in the middle too to stop the, They got this dude named Lindsey, man, a running back, just a bad dude. The dude has been leading the league the last 2 weeks. He got 27 yards the last 2 weeks. We got our work cut out for us. All right, fine. I'm telling you right now, I got the 49ers. Don't get mad at me. 31. 49ers. 27, in spite of Vegas saying we're a 6-point underdog in this game in our own house again. I hate it when they tell us we're going to get beat at home. I hate it when they say we're going to get beat on the road. But 31-27, Niners, go get them, Niners. You can do it. I don't think about, Bo, you do not believe. I do. Dang it. Bam. Before I lose it here, because you know I have that tendency, please remember to hit like, please. Even if you don't appreciate my score. I should have said more points, maybe. Alex, he's got to score up there for you. I'm just a little concerned with the fact that that defense is really rough. But the 49ers will overcome because they're fired up. They're ready this week. 31-27, I'm not changing it. Subscribe if you're a newbie, because I want to be able to find you next time I get ready to talk 49ers football. And give me some comments down, a little feedback, and I'll get back to you. Meanwhile, I'll be seeing you on What's Your Prediction this Friday. And let us be one for the 49er win. I know it's going to happen. I know what you're going to do already. Quiet. I'll see you Friday. Wait, what's the countdown?
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.